Right, so on to the rack packs. Those of you who have watched my videos before, I usually do two at a time. I cut them up and make stacks, so feel free to fast forward the first 2 minutes because it is tough to cut these packs open. Um, there's kind of like a middle barrier, so you can't cut and open two at once, and sometimes you only get some of it open, and you gotta like kind of use your fingers pry it open so then when you try to take them out it doesn't catch the corners like that. There we go. All right, anyone out there Sabres fans? They're scaring me heading into the playoffs. They were doing so well. Now they're kind of hitting a cold streak heading in. They have to be one of the least talented teams going in, but that's my team. They've been hot. Best team in the league since the All-Star break. From last to first. Pretty much near last. I'm not sure if they ever actually hit last this season. All right, that's one open. Right, we'll go through the first stack. We got Greg Boodle, Gary Barbero, Randy Cross, Rich Saul, Steve Grogan, Pat Tilley, Charlie Young, David Hill, Steve Barkowski, Stanley Morgan, Ron Jaworski, Shane Nelson, John Jefferson, Ken Anderson in action, Jack Holmes, John James, Mel Blount, El Baker, Wes Chandler, Ted Brown. I still don't know what these are. Every so often, I mean, I've opened thousands and thousands of cards from this set. And every so often you get a few that are like this. Can you see the difference? And then that year in baseball, they had blacklist cards where the border was gone because it was black. And the signature would sometimes be gone. And it's a valuable set. And I'm wondering if the same thing happened where the printers ran out of ink in some of them, and that black border is really the only black that's in any of these cards, and sometimes it is missing, but it is very few. You maybe get like 2 out of every 1,000. I still don't know what they are. I've done a lot of search on it. No one really has been able to tell me anything. Got Steve Largent, Jack Youngblood, Bruce Laird, Pat Leahy. There's another one. See that little gray? It's completely different. And it's not the person or the card. You'll find another one of Elvin, and it'll be completely black. There's a lot in this this rack pack that's interesting. The Pat Leahy too. Look at that. It's a completely different color than, let's say, the Dwight Clark. Got a James Lofton. Ooh, that's a nice card. Doesn't get much more center than that. Got a Brian Kelly, Tommy Kramer, another gray one, Kenny King, Ray Oldham, Might have to try to get a whole set of grays. There's another one. Kevin House, Cody Jones. That's the type of centering we're looking for on the better cards that we pull. First, we need to pull a good card before we worried about centering. All right, we got Mark Haynes, Jack Reynolds, Steve Barkowski, Perry Brooks, Steve Nelson, Cardinals team leader, Glenn Blackwood. We got a Lynn Dickey, Mike Renfelt, Chris and Matt Barr, Jim Haslett, Seahawks team leaders, Ricky Young, Rick Paros, got a Dan Fouts, Chargers team leader, Mike Ken, Saints, Mark Wilson, another Ed Tall 2 Jones. That one's got pretty good centering. Got Ray Guy, Stan Walters, Jerome Barkham, Nesby Glasgow, Leroy Irving, Dave Preston, Chris Collinsworth. That one's not too bad. Give that one a pass. These rack packs, I swear, not only do they seem to have better cards, but the condition and the centering always seems to be better. Got James Brooks, Lyle Alzado, Jan Hanna, Bernard Wilson, Ryan Sipe, Tim Fox, and a Don Warren. So, got a couple good cards in that stack, at least for centering. There's some nice ones. All right, we got Colts, Stump Mitchell, Pat Leahy, Jimmy Giles, John Stallworth, got a George Roberts, John and Charlie Hanna, got a Pete Johnson, Randy White, Dan Ross, Jack Lambert in action, Joe Cribbs in action, Dan Dornick, Maurice Harvey, ooh, Johnny Perkins, those Giants got me again, Charlie Joyner, Jim Allen, Monty and Terry Jackson, Dennis Hurrah, Leroy Irvin, Bob Swenson, Patriots team leader. Oh, there's a Derek Jensen behind that. The Dave Boots, Dan Ross, the Otis Brown, Eagles team leader, George Cumby, Joe Fields, got a Joe Klecko and a Curtis Greer, got a Jerry Eckwood, Vikings, the Jack Lambert, Ricky Young, Rick Paros, and another Dan Fouts. So, not a huge rack pack, but some good centering, good quality control compared to all those cellos. All right, let's see, got 4 more to go.